Hey everybody, it's Connor. I just wanted to tell you really quick about Letterboxd. Right now, listeners of our show have the chance to win a free 1-year pro account upgrade or extension on Letterboxd. What's Letterboxd, you say? For those who don't know, Letterboxd is a social network for film lovers that lets you track, rate, and review the films you watch, follow other members to get recommendations, publish lists of films, and plenty more. It's free to use, but a pro account provides additional features such as a customized summary of your past year's viewing. To enter, email us at HooperCast@gmail.com for your chance to win. Just type Hooper in the subject line and include your Letterboxd username in the email. The winner will be selected at the end of each month. You can also follow the show on Letterboxd. Just search HooperCast. Again, that's letterboxd.com, letterboxd.com. And now on to the show. Hi everybody, welcome to part 2 of our look ahead to 2016. It is I, Hooper, and it is they, Dustin and John. Hello.
Hello, I'm the Dustin.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, John.
No, you're not, John. You're an imposter. Fake? You're not even good enough to be my fake.
Okay, well, we got to get right into it this morning. Let's go ahead and get into July, because I think we left off at the end of June. Alrighty, you ready? No? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's get started in July. So let's just go weekend by weekend. I have something for July 1st. Does anyone else have? John, I know you do too.
I do too.
Oh, what do you have?
I have the BFG.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't even look at the director of that. I was just like, the BFG, and I skipped it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
I've seen a couple of movies before.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few. This is Spielberg's first Disney movie, guys.
Is it really?
It is. So, I mean, that in and of itself is worth noting. And if you've seen the teaser, it looks really good.
I haven't watched it yet. I've heard that it's good.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. So I'm excited for that.
I heard he's a talented guy.
Yeah, I heard he's a real up and comer. Just keep your eyes on him.
He likes baseball, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, what have you guys got?
Well, John and I both marked down the Purge 3 for that very same weekend. John, I'm excited for this. I really like the other two, and it looks like this one is also it's going to star Frank Grillo again, who was in the second one. So it's interesting to me that they're carrying on with one of their characters, because the first two didn't have any of the same actors,
Right.
which I thought was fine.
The first one.
You never saw the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
That's what I'm talking about, which I liked.
yeah. You should watch the first one. It's really good.
Saracen.
And it looks like this one is going to focus a lot on the original, like the revolutionaries and the very first Purge, but I don't think it's a flashback because Frank Grillo is in it. So unless he was there for the first Purge, like we're following him during the first Purge. So I don't know,
No.
but
Good work.
but it's the same director, the same writer director, James DeMonaco. And I like his style, and it's it's him. So I don't know. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I like the last one, so I feel like this is kind of a movie that can have several sequels and still be fresh and stuff like that. So
Okay. John, on July 8th, you marked down The Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah.
Please tell me what that is, because I see a bunch of comedians' names and a strange title, and then I click on the page and I realize it's an animated film. So please sell me on this.
It's a new film by Illumination, which
Yeah, Minions.
movies,
Yeah.
and they did the Lorax and Minions and all that sort of stuff. So this movie looks really funny. It's kind of, so I think it's a look at like what goes on when you leave your house with your pets, and kind of the adventures that they go on when you're not there. So it seems like a cute premise, and the trailer looks cute, and it has a good cast, and I really like the style that these films have. The studio is French. They have a lot of French animators and things like that, so it has a different look and feel than most other animated films, I think. So, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun.
Well, okay, maybe I'll give that one a second look because it's got a lot of cool people in it. And what? Are you all right? Yes, you are. Okay, well, next is is anyone going to go see the new Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I was going to ask what your thoughts were on that.
I have no interest. I think I've only seen the first one, I think, and I'm just not interested. I like Paul Feig and I like all the I like the cast, but I have no interest, I guess.
Right. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, like the Ghostbusters, it's a done franchise. There's no reason to have any more. It's just sort of a money grab based on the title, and so it could have all the funny people in the world in it, and it's just not going to be. It's just not going to be interesting to me. So I don't understand why we're getting that.
For me, if it doesn't have the original guys in it as the Ghostbusters, I just don't care.
Yeah,
with the big cast, it's
yep. I think they're gonna have like a cameo in it, which is even worse than it's almost worse than them not appearing at all.
Right. Well, for me, it's like if they're not the main focus, I don't want to see it. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to see another movie with them as the main focus anyway.
Exactly.
One is dead, and the other three are, they're older, and it doesn't make sense that they're still Ghostbusters. I feel like.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stop being Ghostbusters at this point.
Exactly.
I don't know. And like to me, the first one is great. But the second one, I think none of the casting did really want to be there, and
right.
It wasn't a great sequel, and so doing another one, especially this long after, it never turns out good with these types of movies. I feel like so.
No. Plus the idea, I don't know if you guys heard this, but it's at one point, I can't remember if it was Dan Aykroyd or if it was like Columbia or whoever, but they were saying they wanted to do a Avengers style Ghostbusters universe.
What?
And I'm like, based on what? Based on nothing.
Jeez.
This world has zero depth. It's literally just our world with ghosts.
Right. It's like a comedy movie. It's just
yeah.
And they all did it without any expectations of it being as big as it did. I think I even read that Bill Murray wanted to do this movie so that the studio would let him do another movie. He did that a consolation so that he could do another film. So really, this was never meant to be what it has become. But
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'll be skipping. Yeah, I agree, and I just feel like it's a blatant. It's a blatant cash grab. It's a blatant I don't want to say stunt casting because they're all talented women. But does anyone else a little suspicious of just like let's make them all women instead of men? Because or is that just me?
No.
Nah. Yeah, that didn't bother me.
As long as they're funny, But again,
right.
They could cast anyone, and I wouldn't have interest in it. But
right.
No, that doesn't bother me.
Well, I'd like to immediately backpedal then.
That's the least of my concerns.
Okay. Well, damn. Now I look like a giant jerk. So, well, I guess. Let me reiterate that I do like the cast. I just sometimes whenever they kind of, I don't know. God,
I know what you mean. I think you're more getting at the fact that it feels more like
it's just like what if we make a sequel?
Get publicity than actually hiring the best people they can.
Let's make a sequel and then let's put women in it instead. And it's like, why don't you just not make the movie, or why don't you write an original movie that stars an all-female cast? I don't know. Just an idea. if I recall, 2 of those cast members were in an original movie starring all female cast, and it was called Bridesmaids, and it did pretty well. So why don't you, kind of revisit that? So
Right.
Not Bridesmaids itself, the concept. Not. Please don't do a sequel to Bridesmaids. Okay.
And almost like a sequel to Ghostbusters.
Oh,
well, yeah. Because we only have 2 choices in our heads. Okay, well, July 22nd is Star Trek Beyond, and the first trailer for this has just come out, and it's gotten some interesting reactions. So what do you guys think about this one?
Well, so for those of you guys that are listening, behind the scenes, we've had small conversations about this film, but I kind of kept quiet because here's the deal: I didn't hate the trailer. Like I didn't hate the direction of it. I didn't hate. Yeah, I didn't hate the way that it looked. But although I do. It's not any sort of like. I don't think it's a contradictory to say that I also long for a more sophisticated or thoughtful Star Trek film, which this did not appear to be. But I'm excited for the movie just because it's a Star Trek film, and it's written by Simon Pegg and a few other guys, and I trust that Simon Pegg knows what makes Star Trek Star Trek. And I think I said in our little like text back and forth about it that in the end, it really doesn't matter who writes it, and in the end, it really doesn't matter who directs it, because this is such a corporate moneymaker that the movie's going to, by and large, kind of turn out the way that Paramount wants it to. So therefore, there's only so much that any one writer or one director could do to make it more thoughtful or more like Star Trek if that's not what the studio wants. So I'm excited for it just because, if it does turn out to be just Fast and Furious in space with, Captain Kirk, then you know what? That's fine. I can get behind that just because Star Trek, at its worst is still pretty much better than most other science fiction things out there.
Right. I mean, for me, it does look a little action heavy, but this is just a teaser trailer. I mean, it's meant to kind of get you hyped for the movie, not go over the plot details or anything like that. So it wouldn't make sense that they would show things like this. And if you look back to that trailer for the first film, the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek, that is, that was pretty action heavy too, with young Kirk jumping out of the movie car, and Spock and Kirk battling on the bridge and all that sort of stuff. That was all in the trailer. So it's not entirely out of left field.
Right.
I'm excited for it. I don't know that much about it yet, obviously, but I'm excited for it, like you are, just because it's a Star Trek movie, and I think generally, even though this is a big money maker for Paramount, they still know what it is, and they know what people want out of it. So, I'm excited for it. Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess it's my turn.
With the Fast and Furious, with the director, I think that's gotten some backlash. That's the same guy who directed one of these Fast and Furious movies. But at the end of the day, that guy's not a competent director. I mean, you have to be to pull off one of those big budget movies like that. So as long as he's a good director, I could care less what he's directed in the past.
Right. No, and for me, I think a lot of people forget that just because he hasn't doesn't mean he can't. And yeah. So.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I used to say this about Michael Bay. Like I think people underrate Michael Bay because it's just like, oh, he makes kind of dumb movies. But it's like, well, but think about everything that goes into directing a movie like that with that much stunt work. I mean, that's a skill in and of itself, and I don't think Woody Allen could do that. But like, now I think Justin Lin's a better director than Michael Bay. Or rather, I think I more consistently enjoy his movies than Michael Bay. Well, I don't know. Well, my point is, here's the thing. So, Justin, that's the thing. That's why I'm trying to backpedal, because I don't actually know that much, so I probably should recant that comment. All the Fast and Furious movies he's directed have been the best ones. Like kind of this new sort of this new lineup of these films that have turned them more into like ensemble heists or ensemble like adventure films, basically. And they've all been the best ones. As for the content of those movies, I don't think he wrote them. So you can't really. Nah, let me see real quick. Let me make sure he didn't. Yeah, written by other people. Fast and Furious was written by another person. Fast 5 was written by the same guy. Fast Furious 6, written by Chris Morgan. So it's been Justin Lin and Chris Morgan. The content of the film is as good as the writing. And the writer, like you said, is Simon Pegg, Doug Young, and some other people. And so I trust that with Simon Pegg providing the content and Justin Lin providing the direction, it's actually going to be a good film. If you were to take that first trailer at face value, it's like, oh yeah, this doesn't look like the pensive, intellectual, thought-provoking science fiction that it has the potential to be. But as Simon Pegg himself even said, like, oh, I think that first one essentially was like a marketing ploy. Like, and it's unfortunate because for us, it doesn't look like the film that it should be. But then again, it doesn't matter what we think. The film is the film. And two, it's the first trailer, and they're trying to grab people's attention early. And I think the next trailer will be a lot more for the fans of the franchise. And that's what Simon Pegg himself said. You know, I say to the fans, just wait, just give it time, to be patient. There's going to be another trailer coming, and that'll show you more of the substance of the film, not just the style. Because I'll tell you, I really hated this trailer. I did. I thought it looked like I thought it dumbed it down all the way. But I'm trying to do the math, and the math is telling me different. So.
And I think with this trailer, it was cut specifically to run in front of The Force Awakens, so it was kind of cut to be more Star Wars and Star Trek, if you will. To kind of grab people's attention that we're going to see that film. So,
Well, let's move on to August. So August 5th, first weekend, is David Ayer and Warner Brothers' Suicide Squad, which Dustin, you and I have talked a lot about on this podcast. We've given it a lot of publicity. Not really positive publicity. Just more of like disappointed or come on, I hope publicity.
Right. I think the thing about Suicide Squad is it all hinges on Batman vs Superman. If that film tanks, if that film is awful, if that film is just like unbearable, then Suicide Squad is not going to perform well. And I hate to say it like that, but because it may still it has some appeal, but it's set in that same universe and has to share sort of a tone and a style. So it really hinges on Batman vs Superman, and I'll see them both. I mean, obviously, I'll see, just like I'm going to see all the Marvel movies, I'm going to see all these movies too. I'm not going to, be like, nah, I'm not seeing that. But I mean, the truth is, when it comes down to it, this is not the film. It doesn't appear to be the film that I wanted it to be. I think my main thing that DC is disappointing me with now is two things. It's a step away from the source material, and especially when compared to how faithful Marvel's being. Which, in some cases they stray too, but, I don't know, it always works. And then just the tone of everything is so dark and like, I don't know, depressing. And to me, I mean, when you look at someone like Joker and Harley Quinn, I don't know that it should be that dark. Or, I mean, Deadshot. It's a dude who just shoots guns. I mean, I don't know that it warrants that, or I mean, freaking Adewale's in this he's Killer Croc, isn't he? It's like a dude who's a giant crocodile. Like how like I don't know, dark and moody can this be? He's a giant crocodile. So Yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to see how this all comes together. But the trailers don't instill me with confidence, and I haven't even mentioned Jared Leto, who I'm not liking. So we'll just leave that there. I cannot get behind the visual interpretation of this Joker. Should his performance sway me, then that's another thing entirely. But visually, I can't see this interpretation catching on. So, yeah.
For me, my interest level isn't really high, and I feel like it's DC kind of trying to do like a Guardians of the Galaxy type movie that's going a different route with it. But the difference is Marvel had already built up a lot of good faith with me with Guardians of the Galaxy, so I wasn't hugely familiar with those characters, but I was already invested in the universe that they'd set up. So, but this is kind of odd to come right out of the gate with some of these characters.
I see it. The way that I look at it is because I'm pretty familiar with the Suicide Squad comics and just various interpretations. The way that I look at it is they probably wanted a vehicle for the Joker. Like what they probably were looking at on paper was, okay, what are the big characters that people know, and with you can go like through a shopping mall right now and see that they're pushing Harley Quinn really, really, really heavily. So it seems like on paper, probably what they were doing was, how can we get the Joker and Harley Quinn to frontline a film, and the Suicide Squad was the answer to that question. So to me, even like what annoys me about it isn't that the Suicide Squad film exists, but rather that it exists as a vehicle for two characters who should be in a Batman film. And that to me is the issue. And the other issue is that Harley Quinn is such a character who has no reason to exist without the Joker. So for me, if they exist apart in this film for too long, I can't believe that. It's the same with the Suicide Squad comics. Harley Quinn's a part of the squad in the comics, but the Joker's not there. I can't get behind it because I can't believe that she would exist without the Joker. So, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. Whatever. I don't have high hopes.
It really depends on Batman, Superman.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, this for me will wait till after Batman, Superman. But I gotta tell you, like if this film were opening today, I wouldn't go see it. And my threshold is low because, this film is just not really in my, doesn't make the cut of films that I can really, that I'll shell out full price to see, but I have a very, specific palette for my theater going films, and they tend to have the name Marvel on them.
Sure.
Or I'm really excited for this movie written all over it, and this doesn't. It has "Oh God" written all over it.
Although I'm excited to see Will Smith, and I'm excited to see Will Smith care about something, because the dude got like a tattoo at the end of this, so evidently he had a pretty good time making it. So.
or
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
No.
Who are you? Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. His watery eyes.
Is there anything? I don't think there's anything else in August that I'm really. Yeah, nothing.
Can I mention that we're getting a remake to Ben-Hur? Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, it opens the following 12th. Weekend. Yeah, August 12th.
Who thought that was a good idea? Hey, you know that Charlton Heston classic? Yeah, let's just do another one.
Yeah, Paramount and MGM. Wow.
Good Lord.
These old world type movies flop too. I just think back to that Christian Bale, Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah, Exodus. Exodus, yeah.
Well, look, I think
they do, and it's because They've been done better before in the past. Exodus was the 10 Commandments. You don't need a new one. It's already there. Same with Ben-Hur. You don't need a new one.
But I think Dustin...
Those films are like a product of their time, you know? I don't know if they're
exactly.
working if you redid them, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when I was in school...
I think
and
Ben-Hur was close to like 3 hours, I want to say.
yes, it was. We watched
truly
it,
an epic, yeah.
We watched it in school. Like, in third grade, my teacher was like, we're going to watch a film called Ben-Hur. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't understand the spelling of it. And then I was really bored. But, like, at the time, I remember thinking, like, I don't even know what it's about or this or that. And I guarantee you, like, this is not going to introduce Ben-Hur to a whole new audience. It's not... There's no audience for this movie. There really isn't. Like, the general, action-adventure-y, you know, gladiator fans, I guess that demographic. But did those people come out to see Exodus? Now, granted, I like seeing these, you know, religious or old-timey movies on a grander scale with what we can do now with technology. But, you know, I'd rather have Dustin adapt the Bible and then we make that into like a giant series. You know, I don't want to see Ben-Hur.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you're both saying. I mean, it's a very old-fashioned kind of an idea, and a very old-fashioned kind of the way that it unfolds is old-fashioned. So they're either going to have to like jazz it up and do some like crazy, you know, I don't know. I can see some. I can just see the trailer now, and it's like, you know, real gritty and like a lot of action and swords and stuff. But the old one was just a lot of Ben-Hur, like Charlton Heston making faces because he's being whipped for like 3 hours. You know that face he makes? He always makes with his like teeth, like his mouth is open, but his teeth are gritted together.
Wait, you guys are into that?
And I feel like it's almost like, who is it for? Like this one, I think this one, Best Picture back when it was released, but
yeah, it did.
No one going like, I'm such a fan of Ben-Hur. Like, I don't understand what a studio that would agree like that and go, yep, let's remake this because there's such a rabid fan base out there for a remake of this.
Dude,
You know?
it must be
exactly.
I don't know what studio making this.
It must be part of a package deal or something. Like
I don't know. It's stupid, whatever it is. Ben-Hur is one of my favorite movies of all time. Albeit, you know, it's not super... I mean, it is rewatchable. It's just like you said, it's like over 3 hours long. So when do you have time to ever rewatch it? But it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So I don't understand the remake.
I don't...
Yeah,
well,
it's like remaking Psycho or something.
Exactly. Also one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the executive of Paramount made a promise to his dying grandfather, like, please remake Ben-Hur. Okay, Grandpa, I promise. And then he's telling them in the board meetings, like, I don't care how much money it takes. We're going to remake Ben-Hur because Pop would have wanted that, you guys. And then that's why this is getting made.
Let's put Morgan Freeman in it.
What he doesn't know, though, is in the afterlife, his grandpa's going to watch it and go, oh, God, that was bad. I'm sorry I asked for this.
That was terrible.
Don't listen to me.
Why is Morgan Freeman?
Because I was born in 1915. Don't ask. I'm an engineer. Don't ask my opinion on what a good movie would be ever again, son. Why did you listen to me? Why did you listen to me? Well, let's move on to September. I don't think August has anything else to offer us ever in any way, not outside of movies. Also, so just as a month, just not that good.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there. Oh God, John, way to shit on my point. Okay. In September. This is interesting to me. There is a remake of The Magnificent Seven, and it's directed by Antoine Fuqua. One of the writers is Nick Pizzolatto, who's the writer-director, the writer-executive producer of True Detective. And it's one of the main stars is Denzel Washington, and then Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio. So this on paper is a horrible idea, and this in practice might be a horrible idea, because I actually have seen The Magnificent Seven. It's one of those old movies I actually went back and checked out, and it's good. I mean, granted, I don't know if this is going to be. Is this also going to be in the Old West? Because here's the thing. Here's why it could work. So The Magnificent Seven was a remake in itself. In 1954, there was The Seven Samurai. And then in 1960, so The Seven Samurai was Akira Kurosawa. And so then in 1960, John Sturges was like, okay, let's make that movie, but in the Old West. So I guess now, 66 years later, or 56 years later, big difference, not really, when it comes to the gap between movies. Antoine Fuqua and Columbia Pictures and MGM, Village Roadshow, whoever is actually in charge. All these package deals are confusing me. Who's responsible for this? So I guess they're going to make a modern day adaptation of The Magnificent Seven. So it doesn't bother me so much that they have someone like Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington involved. I hope it turns out good, but just things like this in general kind of turn out to be ill-conceived. But then again, when you consider that the history of this, I'll call it a franchise, when the history of the franchise is all about reinventing it and putting it in a different setting, it doesn't seem that far-fetched as well, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I don't know, is anyone else interested at all in this, or at least gonna maybe check out the trailer for it? You know?
Yeah, I'll check out the trailer. I'm interested in the cast, for sure.
Yeah, the cast sounds good. I've never seen the original.
The Seven Samurai is one of my favorite movies as well, and yeah. So I haven't seen I haven't seen Magnificent Seven, but I have seen Seven Samurai.
Yeah, well, I've seen the Magnificent Seven.
Also remade another time.
I don't believe so.
As a what?
The Bug Slice.
Oh yes, it was. Not to mention, well, you know. Sort of based on, yes. And then there was an anime series as well, like a mini series based on Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check out the trailer. I mean, it might.
Apparently.
I'll say this, dude. I mean, the whole like Dirty Dozen-ish idea, you know, of like the ensemble of gunslingers, basically, or skilled warriors coming together. I've always kind of been into that basic concept, and so if I don't see this in theaters, which I probably won't, just because I can't afford it, I'm gonna definitely check it out on Redbox, because I'm interested enough in the concept and in the people involved that I think it might be worth at least a rent, just right off the bat. I mean, who knows? I'm just interested in to see how well it's executed.
Gotcha.
The following weekend in September is a film called Deepwater Horizon, and this caught my eye because of, obviously, I live in Mobile, so the oil spill, we were one of the many cities and areas of the country, areas of the Gulf Coast that were affected by the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And also because Peter Berg is the director, which I thought might mean something to John and to you, Dustin, too. But I think he's one of those underrated directors. And I'm so me being interested in the subject matter, feeling personally connected to it, but also just because Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg's in here, Kurt Russell's in here. Oh, and Kate Hudson. Oh, look at that, father-daughter. But it's got a lot of good people. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds interesting. I haven't heard anything about it, but
Me neither. I didn't know this existed, but I like Peter Berg movies and shows.
And it's being done by Summit Entertainment, and it's one of those mini films being shot in New Orleans, which is obviously good because this is. I imagine they're going to focus at New Orleans a lot, just because New Orleans is a popular Gulf Coast city, and also just because a lot of filming gets done there. I don't know if it'll be set in New Orleans, but that's where it's being shot. You know, it affected a lot of areas of the country, and so I don't even really know the plot that well. But just again, like for it to cover an event like this is, I think, is cool. And it's got a good cast, and I just think it'll be well done.
Speaking of New filmed that set in the parking lot of Six Flags New Orleans, which was
really?
After Hurricane Katrina. But they said the parking lot was so big that that's where they built the set for that.
Wow.
That massive area.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, does anyone have anything for October? Because I don't.
I was wondering if you guys would have Gambit on there.
I didn't.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, John. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we're late enough into the year now where we're not. There's no trailers for any of these movies we're going to talk about for the rest of the episode. But I'd have to see a trailer, and honestly, I'm just not that interested in Gambit as a character to see a movie that's only about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think Gambit works much better if he's a part of an X-Men movie than a solo film.
Yeah.
And where's Taylor Kitsch?
Yeah, Taylor Kitsch, who I love, but was not very good as Gambit.
He was not.
Not very convincing.
And there's that one reference in Friday Night Lights where you see Tim Riggins' room and he has some X-Men comics in the foreground.
Yeah.
I'm like, I see what you guys did there.
That was great.
The only
I
other.
remember when I first saw that at the time, I was like, that guy's shit, Tim Riggins, and everyone else was like, who? And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
The only other thing that October has taught me, Dustin, is I need to correct myself. I think I stated previously that Jack Reacher 2 was being written and directed by Chris McQuarrie. That's not the case.
Oh, it's not, is it?
No, it's directed by a guy
wow.
named Ed Zwick.
Wow. Okay.
Who's mainly a producer, but Ed Zwick, and then some other dude wrote it. So I was wrong. So if any of you
Gotcha.
don't use the internet at all and listen solely to my voice about facts about movies, Chris McQuarrie is not involved in Jack Reacher. Never go back. So if you were planning on seeing it based on that fact, reconsider your weekend. Perhaps go see Underworld Next Generation or Ouija 2. Yeah.
Did you guys spot Inferno in October? This is the third from what's the Dan Brown thing, the Da Vinci Code. This is the third Da Vinci Code movie.
Really?
Was there? I had no clue that people still. I had no clue there was more than one book. And second, I had no idea that people still cared about this franchise.
I didn't think. I agree. Me neither.
This is a franchise that stars Tom Hanks, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Well, it's directed by Ron Howard too.
Has directed. Yeah, Ron Howard's directed all of them, and no one cares.
He's directing the Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
He did.
I have no clue. How is it that Tom Hanks and Ron Howard have made 3 movies that nobody cares about?
Is Tom Hanks in it? The Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same guy.
Yep. How is this possible? Like, have you ever heard anybody say, "Oh yeah, those are great movies"? I've never heard anybody talk about them ever.
No, I mean, everyone I know who's religious to any degree really doesn't like them because of what they imply. But in just as films in general, I've never heard that they're even good movies.
I saw the first one when it came out in theaters, just like randomly, like, hey, we need something to do tonight, so let's go see a movie. But I don't remember anything about it, like nothing. I think maybe Ian McKellen was in it, but I can't remember if that's a fact or if that's my head. So, probably not.
All right, well, let's...
Poor guy.
It's interesting that we've said we have nothing in October, but here we go. We've been deep into October today.
Yes.
All right, let's go on to November. November 4th, right off the bat, is something I think we're all going to go see. Shit, I didn't even know this. Sorry. Okay, real quick, some backstory real quick. So Doctor Strange, November 4th, obviously from Marvel Studios, and this is going to be, this is what's connecting, because the last Marvel film we've had is Ant-Man. At this point we will have seen Civil War.
Civil War. And
they said this might be the first movie that you see that would have the ripple effect of the Perlmutter Kevin Feige feud. Like this might be the first movie that's actually impacted, like where you'd see any kind of change, because Civil War was too far. I think they were filming already. And actually, it may not even be this one, actually, because I think they said this one was too far into pre-production to make any changes. Doesn't matter because they're all well done. But here's something interesting, real quick, that I just noticed. So Scott Derrickson's the director, which we've all known for a while. Scott Derrickson is the one who did Sinister, among other things. What I didn't know is that one of the writers is C. Robert Cargill. Do either of you know who that is? You probably don't.
No.
Okay, so he was the writer of Sinister. C. Robert Cargill was one of the movie critics on Spill.com, if you recall. There was all those cartoon movie reviewers. You remember that website from college? So C. Robert Cargill was the one. I don't know if you remember their names. He was Carlisle. He was the guy in the hat. The guy, he kind of talks like this.
Oh, yeah.
That's him. So he left Spill. I followed the website closer than any of us did until the website ended. But he left Spill.com to pursue screenwriting full time. And that because he had written Sinister and it had gotten picked up. So it is really cool for me. And I've emailed with him before. Which isn't a big deal, but just I've communicated with this guy before, back and forth. So it is really cool. I had no idea that he was a co-writer for this movie. That's huge for him. So a quick shout out to C. Robert Cargill, because, and he lives in Austin. I mean, he's a very, very informed and very credible lover of movies. So I think I need to point out that I trust his judgment and the choices he probably would have made with his role in this movie. So that's not really what we're talking about at all, but I just wanted to point out that I actually knew his story a little bit. Awesome. So even apart from his involvement, I'm not saying he's a prolific writer, but I'm saying he's competent and he doesn't make stupid choices. So Doctor Strange, I'm excited for. Obviously. I don't know. Does anyone have anything to add other than the cast is amazing?
Cast looks good. I think it'll be cool to go to the more cosmic, mystical regions of the universe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to dominate that.
A little trippy.
Yes, I hope it gets trippy.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I don't know that much about Doctor Strange. Even when I look him up, I still don't understand what he does. I still don't understand what he can do. I'm so confused.
It's funny. As a kid, did you guys ever watch that 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo TV show?
Yeah, Vincent Price.
Yes. I thought that for the longest time that was Doctor Strange in that show.
Yes.
I think his name is Vincent Van Ghoul.
Vincent Van Ghoul.
Yeah. For the longest time, I thought that they were doing a crossover. That's the Doctor Strange.
And you know what we're not going to mention about that show? Flim Flam.
Oh, dear.
We're certainly not going to mention the racist stereotype that is Flim Flam.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, I've lost it. Oh, no. Flim Flam.
All right. Well, let's keep going. All right, a couple weeks later, November 18th, I know people and you guys are excited for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The Harry Potter prequel film / story, directed by David Yates, written by J.K. Rowling and Steve Kloves, and starring Eddie Redmayne, among many other. Colin Farrell's in this? Interesting. But Dan Fogler is too. Oh dear. Well, anyway.
Oh dear.
He's not playing Flim Flam.
Oh no.
We don't know.
So,
It could be Flim Flam in disguise.
Flim Flam.
So Doctor Strange had better clean up for a couple weeks, because it's got 2 weeks before this comes in and just dominates the box office. Not only is it the probably the biggest movie, I'll say slightly, of November, because a Marvel film is gonna do well, but this is Harry Potter. So
Yeah, and then Star Wars comes out in December.
Yeah, well, and this is the only thing. This is the only thing so far that's coming out that weekend on November 18th. Obviously, This is Wikipedia, and obviously, this is right now we're in January, but this there's nothing else large that's going to come out this weekend that will even take away any money from Fantastic Beasts. So I think I'm less excited than you guys are, and I think I've stated the reasons, but I'm not turned off to this movie. I'm treating it honestly the same as The Magnificent Seven. I'm just going to wait and see, and then maybe see it. Because for me, I'm sort of done with this world, and not in any bitter way. Just I'm sort of just want to move on from it, but I recognize the reasons why people want to see it, and that's fine with me.
I was on the fence about it initially, but I really warmed to it now, and especially now that they have all the creative people that made the first, really my favorite Harry Potter films, great, are back in place, and this seems to be a fresh take on it. I'm excited for it. So.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think I've always thought that the Harry Potter universe, or that wizarding world, is bigger than one character, and so I wasn't against the idea of a story taking place there that didn't involve Harry, as long as they can make Newt an interesting character. I'm cool with it, the cast, the directors, the writers. I mean, I'm all on board pretty much, and I think the one thing that's throwing me, I think, the most is that just the little glimpses that you see in the teaser trailer and what you've seen in promo shots. It doesn't. The Wizarding World in America doesn't look like how I anticipated. But I don't know if I expected them all to be in trucker hats and denim jackets, but hey, we're all magical up in here. But I do think that how come when I say some words in Latin, some things happen? I ain't never figured that one out.
Dustin, I would love to watch.
American Hagrid, and his name is just James.
James. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Jimmy.
I would love
welcome
to see
America.
I would love to see Southern Harry Potter, more than anything. Petrificus totalis, or Beerus consumus, Condruncus, I don't know, just I don't know. That's a whole, God, that'd be the best comedy ever, would just be Harry Potter of Mississippi.
The redneck Harry Potter, man, that would be hilarious. I do want to see the southern Wizarding World. See what that looks like.
I bet it's amazing.
They're just fly. They're not using brooms. They're just using big trucks to fly in, and they're playing Quidditch. But it's not. They're just flying around in big trucks and honking their horns at each other. That's about it.
All right.
I will say, with this film, it'll also be interesting to see an American wizard, because that's still something we haven't seen yet.
That's true.
Right, correct, yeah.
I mean, there was time, so.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it could be anything. They may not have to use the same spells as the British wizards, because, literally anything is kind of applicable here. They already announced that the Americans don't call muggles, and that was a huge deal. So it could be anything. So yeah,
that's true.
All right. Well, let's go to December. On December 16th, Dustin, you mentioned that Rogue One, a Star Wars story, as it's referred to, a Star Wars story. Is that really the subtitle? Huh.
probably.
Okay. So that's coming out.
Do you want to know why that movie exists?
Why?
I would imagine it's purely so that they can have another film with Darth Vader in it.
Really?
That's true. That's probably true.
Yeah, because this film takes place before Episode 4.
God,
if I'm not mistaken.
It's so hard to keep track of the continuity.
So, yeah,
I think that this film centers around getting the Death Star plans.
It does, yeah.
Beginning of episode 4, right?
Right, because in A New Hope, they don't ever explain like where they got the plans. That when they're looking at them in the big room, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go do some stuff." They have plans for the Death Star. How'd they get those? Well, this is the story. So we kind of know that they succeed. So that's good. I mean, I guess they could die, but they do succeed. But I would imagine this film exists solely so that we can have another film where you can market Darth Vader heavily.
As the villain, yeah.
Yeah, and also, they're going to bastardize this continuity quickly because making all these movies. So you got the new trilogy that's after the original 3, and then you got all these standalones. Which look individually, I'm sure they're all fine, but and they all turn out fine and competent and probably good films. But you're going to muddle the continuity fast.
Well, the biggest thing I worry about is informing the public as to when this film happens.
Yeah,
like that seems like such a monumental task. It's not like a where you can say, "Oh, this is the Han Solo, story," where everyone just assumes, at what place in the timeline this film happens. But with Rogue One, you do have to inform, I think, the people when this film takes place in the timeline. And like you said, I mean, it'll be a really easy way to kind of invalidate a lot of things about the story so far, or it could be. And also let's not get ahead of ourselves and assume that James Earl Jones is going to do the voice of Vader again. I mean, I guess he will, but eventually he won't. Eventually he will die, and then what?
Then he'll be one with the Force.
yeah.
Yes.
Choke in the booth is one of those ghosts. I'm ready.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picture like the opening crawl for this movie. It's just like this movie takes place between episode 3 and episode 4.
Yes.
I literally think they're going to need an infographic like you'd see on the internet for like where this takes place in a visual timeline of these movies.
Right. It'll probably, in all honesty, it'll probably be in the trailer, and it'll say like, before the Death Star blew up,
before time began.
Show like clips from the original film, and it'll be like before all of this, but after all of this.
Honestly,
and then no.
If you just have a bunch of people with satchels passing out brochures when people walk into the theater, like with their ticket, give them a brochure that has the aforementioned infographic on it. And that's how we'll know.
They'll go door. Yeah, they go door to door. Excuse me, sir. Have you heard that Star Wars: A Rogue One takes place before Episode 4?
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior?
Time to talk about Lord Vader.
Yeah. Do you have a minute to talk? Oh my God.
Oh no!
All right, they're still dressed like the Jehovah's Witnesses.
I'll probably see this.
Yeah,
I will too.
I'm not. I don't know, but we'll see how the new one.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Star Wars yet? The new one?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't either.
Just
I'm
to point.
I'm going to see it when I get home.
Just to point out, this is early.
I'll see it. I'll see it at some point.
Just to remind everyone of where we are in time, this is early to mid-January 2016. Maybe we've seen the movie, maybe we haven't yet. I don't know. Depends.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I know there's some temporal.
Yes, I have seen it.
Some temporal displacement going on where we don't recall the past month of our lives or so.
Yes.
It's odd. Anyway.
That car accident, I got it.
Okay. The only other thing I have for December, and I'm only passively interested, is Assassin's Creed, which comes out December 21st.
Yeah.
I like Michael Fassbender, and I think he's well cast as, I guess, Altair. Is he Altair, or is he? Who is he? Is he Ezio? Who is he?
I don't know if he's Altair or Ezio. I'm not sure.
He is, well, Aguilar. It looks like. Yeah, Aguilar is the guy. So he's not Altair.
So he's it says original characters created for the film.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's fine. I don't know why he needed to be Altair. I've seen those pictures, and the costume looks good, and I think he's a good pick for generally what these people look like. My only real issue, not even issue, but like Michael Fassbender's 38. So if they're going to do a franchise of these, then he's kind of getting up there in terms of being able to do a lot of the stunt work. I love Michael Fassbender as an actor. But at a certain point, considering what Altair can do, or not Altair, the assassin, considering that the movies involve a lot of parkour and stunt work, I just hope that he can keep up. And I don't want to say anything against him, but that's just, that is a thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. Although, again, kind of like the Magnificent Seven, the purpose of these films could be, you could do these, it doesn't have to be the same person playing the assassin, because you could just jump to another century and recast them. So it doesn't have to be Michael Fassbender every time. In fact, it wouldn't make sense if it was Michael Fassbender every time. It could be, and you could just have the gene pool be really shallow, and then, the guy in the 17th century looks exactly the same. Oh, okay, that's weird. But, it would be believable. But you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the Bond franchise or other or Doctor Who. You can recast the person, and it makes sense in the continuity because it takes place in an entirely different time period. It could be fun. The games were fun, and I think there's a lot of potential cinematically for them. So, especially with just historical production design, period pieces are great on film, and especially today, where you can just paint you can just recreate ancient Rome, in a computer, and it'll look good. And stuff, just with wire erasure and CG sequences, not to completely computer up the film, but this is a very doable idea, and I think it'll be cool, and it could be a big moneymaker for Fox.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you guys see that there's a Jumanji movie?
There's no greater and more depressing reminder that Robin Williams is dead than this film.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Why do we need a Jumanji remake?
I don't
What
know.
was wrong with Robin Williams, a young Mary Jane Watson? I don't understand what was wrong with all of the terrible, horrible effects. It's all endearing to me.
What about the movie Godzilla? Wasn't that kind of like a space remake of Jumanji already?
Yeah, it pretty much was. Yeah,
that didn't do well.
No, it didn't.
Well, that's as soon as bizarre.
Yeah, but I have no interest in seeing Jumanji with CG animals. Where did the puppets go?
Yeah.
Although I guess
I
guess the monkeys were CG, weren't they?
I think
in the original.
There were a lot of puppets and things like that, I believe.
Yeah. Remember those little puppet spiders that they had, and if I remember right, their legs hardly even moved. They just kind of scuttled along the floor.
Yeah. Remember Robin Williams' epic beard?
Yeah, man. Dude was just wearing leaves.
Facial hair like goals.
Talk to me about how your life is hard. Robin Williams disappeared, went to a forest and lived grew up in a daggum jungle, came back to civilization. His parents are dead, yo, and here he is wearing leaves. He has the education of a fourth grader.
Throwing that shoe. If you remember.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But
with the guilt.
Yeah, and he's literally a super. He can't survive in society because he's done. Oh wait, they went back in time, didn't they? Yeah, never mind.
No, that's right.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. So none of that ever happened. But he remembers it. He'll remember that timeline forever.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
He will live knowing that he lived in a jungle. But hey, think about it like this: like that kid should be president because he knows how to survive, yo. Like he's gonna grow up and be all kinds of like just miles ahead of everybody else in school. They're gonna be like, "How do you know this?" And he's like, "Because I've already been 50 years old, yo."
All right.
I slept in caves. I cut animals open, used them as sleeping bags. Tauntaun style.
All right.
Drank my own urine.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for getting up and doing this with me. Once again, that is everything in 2016 as of this point that we have any interest in seeing at all. Listen in next week for the show, and coming up, we've got our favorite movies of 2015 as well. So look forward to that, and I'll look forward to talking to you guys about that because I'm interested in what we pick. But there's still time to see a few of them before we make that list. So thank you guys for talking to me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Bye.
Good.